Hey, everybody, welcome to Biz Chicks TV. This is the place for tips, tools, and strategy and everything that you need to take the hassle out of your hustle. This is going to be a short session today. We have Terry traveling. Terry Johnson is out um, on some vacation time. Um, Dr. Tachi may jump in, but I just wanted to let you know that we're going to do some tech history. So stand by for that right now. This week in tech history. Need to get a little something over here. I think this is what I want. Please stand by. Okay. This week in tech history. Thank you for everybody watching live and those watching on the replay. We welcome your comments and thank you for sharing. All right, April 19th, 1947, the first public demonstration of a prototype Zoomar lens is conducted inside Studio 3 at NBC's Rockefeller Plaza headquarters in New York City. It was invented by Dr. Frank V. Back and promoted by investor film and television producer Jerry Fairbanks. The Zoomar lens would become the first commercially successful zoom lens. A version for film cameras would be used by Paramount later that year to cover the 1947 World Series for a newsreel production. The ability to use zoom lenses allowed for less expensive television productions. Let me do something here real quick. By the end of the decade, Zoomar lenses were in use in nearly 1/3 of television stations in the United States at the time. As news TV stations were popping up quickly during this era, the fact that by 1957, more than half of the TV stations then in operation owned Zoomar lenses, and that was even more impressive. Okay. The next piece of history, April 20th, 1940, Vladimir Zoroykin, research director at RCA, holds a public demonstration for the first practical electron microscope. While the electron microscope had originally been invented in 1931, the first model was only able to produce a magnification of 400 times. RCA's model was the first to create a magnification of 100,000 times, which was truly the first practical application of an electron microscope. The early model was 10 feet high and weighed half a ton. All right. And Vladimir is also famous for being one of the inventors of the television. Who knew? That was April 20th, 1940. And in April 21st, 1988, the Tandy Company holds a press conference to announce plans to build clones of IBM's PS2 system computers. And the conference comes soon after IBM's announcement that it would license patents on key PC technologies. IBM made this decision as they realized they were losing control of the IBM compatible PC market and they could make more money licensing the technology. And the IBM clones within 5 years would become more popular than the original IBM machines themselves. So that was that. Here's something all you YouTubers want to know about. April 23rd, 2005. The first video uploaded to YouTube. It's called Me at the Zoo, and it is posted on April 23rd at 8:27 p.m. by co-founder Jawed Karim. And it is a piece of history. 2005. Where are we now? We are at 20. It's almost 20 years old. Yep, Mark, it's been that long. Nearly 20 years. I wonder if I can show that first video. Let me see if I can pull that up because it does have a link for it. Stand by for a moment. Me at the zoo. Okay, stand by. I think I'm going to roll this. Gotta get my little screens together here. We're going to share the screen. And here it is, me at the zoo.
All right, so here we are in front of the elephants. Cool thing about these guys is that they have really, really, really long fronts, and that's cool. And that's pretty much all there is to say.
Okay.
Okay, I got to see something.
That was the first YouTube video uploaded a year, almost 20 years ago, 19 years ago. And our final story in history, April 24th, 1984. On the same day in 1984, Apple introduces the Apple IIc computer and announces max sales numbers. And stop. Do it again, friend. On the same April 24th, 1984, Apple introduces the Apple IIc computer, announces max sales numbers, and discontinues the Apple III line. Did all three of those things at the same time. Hey, Dr. Tachi, welcome in.
Hey.
The Apple IIc was Apple's first attempt at a portable computers. Dealers placed orders for more than 52,000 units on the first day. Apple also announces that over 60,000 Macs have been sold since their introduction in January that year. In contrast, the Apple III line only sold an estimated 120,000 units in the 4 years since it was introduced, losing Apple about $60 million. Wow. Yeah. So that is tech history. And I have TJ's news story. There are not a lot of them because she's got two major stories. But although there's only two, there's one that is like major. So
do tell.
Yes. I'm going to go with the lightweight one. From Meta, Instagram adds new options for creator subscriptions. Instagram has been offering creator subscriptions since 2022, which enables creators to offer exclusive content to paying fans and make money directly from their most dedicated audience. Instagram's rolling out new data for creators with StickerTap Insight. Instagram is also expanding its subscription stories teaser display, which will show non-subscribers when a creator has posted subscriber-only content, giving them the option to sign up to view. Instagram is also adding new ways to prevent screenshots and screen recordings in order to help protect a creator's exclusive content, while it is also sharing new case studies, best practice tips, and more with its professional dashboard.
So I do understand the process of wanting to do that, and it makes sense because you want to protect creators' IP. But does that mean somebody is going to find a way to get around that, if not as simple as taking another device and recording it?
Oh, you mean like put it up in front of the? Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, people will figure out ways to do things. Threads
Absolutely.
launches custom mute filters. Threads is launching a new feature that lets users filter out words and phrases from their feeds and mentions. The hidden words feature automatically mutes common words, phrases, and emojis that might be offensive to users. In addition to these preset filters, users can add their own custom words and phrases in the settings. Users can turn these settings off at any point in time. Threads said that the feature will filter out content from both the following and For You feeds, search results, profiles, and replies to posts. So is that like the YouTube, like on YouTube, you can put in there certain words or what have you, and emojis and things so that you don't get some weird videos from.
That's what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like.
Okay. So, okay. Now, that's all Meta. TikTok. Are we ready?
Listen, I'm ready for TikTok. Go ahead.
I was like, whoa, okay, TikTok. U.S. Senate approves TikTok sell-off proposal. President Biden has now signed the bill into law. The U.S. Senate approved a bill that will force the app to be sold into U.S. ownership or be banned entirely in the region. The bill, which was initially proposed early last month and approved by the House of Representatives, was repackaged into a broader foreign aid push in order to hasten its path to a Senate vote. The Senate voted on that combined proposal, which also includes provisions for military aid in Ukraine and Israel and humanitarian aid in Gaza. TikTok will be forced into a sale in order to distance itself from its Chinese ownership and the risk of the app being used as propaganda tools by the Chinese Communist Party. ByteDance will then be given 9 months to sell TikTok to a US-based owner, or it will have to remove the app from the region. That could be extended by a further 30 days if ByteDance meets the requirements of an appeal. So essentially, TikTok will likely be around till this time next year. Okay.
Go ahead, and then I'll say something.
That is it. So it's open for discussion. So I'm surprised we even got this far.
So, first of all, it's very interesting to me that there has been such a push for this, considering everything else that needs to be done. And I'm not saying national security is not an issue, not at all. But it's very interesting that this got done so quickly in record time in terms of the decision. Now, I know it's going to take like till next year to do anything about it, but it's very interesting. Yet you can't seem to do other things with the same swiftness. Okay, so the other thing is that I read that rather than, because here's the thing, regardless of what they do, you can't really force somebody to sell. Can you really do that? Can you force them to sell it to you? I don't know international law enough to know that whether or not this is something that but it just looks foolish on the surface. And so the Chinese government has said, or ByteDance has said, well, we'll just shut down in the US rather than have a forced sale. Because this is what they said. They said that TikTok doesn't comprise, according to them, doesn't comprise a huge amount of their portfolio. They still have the sister app. It's not WeChat. I forgot what it's called. The sister app.
Douyin or do.
Yes,
something.
yes, exactly. So they still have that. They still, remember, ByteDance still owns CapCut. So it's very interesting that you're going after this, but you don't maybe they probably don't know that CapCut is owned by ByteDance. So there's that. So they have other things in their portfolio, and according to them, TikTok is not the biggest part of their portfolio, so it's not a concern for them. So they're like bye Felicia. So I think the bigger thing here is, what does that mean for TikTok creators? It means this. I hope that TikTok was not your end all and be all social media strategy, because if and when they do really for real go away, you're going to be stuck. So I hope that you are looking at creating all types of things, not just for short form, but that you're trying to delve into long form, that you're on other platforms, that you are driving people that have now become your fans to platforms you actually own, whether it's an email list that you've generated, whether it's a text chat that you've generated, whether it's your own app, your own website. Drive them to something you own, because these apps will close. I'm not hurt. Can you tell I'm not hurt?
It's one less thing I need to be trying to keep up with. And I got to put together a system just to keep up with, okay, got to go over here, go over here, go over here, go over here. Just to, to be wherever our followers or people are. I don't, it did come kind of quickly. I was like, wait, you people move fast for this. Like, summer ain't even here yet. And I was like, well, because they normally do not do anything this fast.
They had fire underneath the seat of their pants with this one. Burn holes all in the back of their pants for this. Right. They never do. I mean, they're quick to go on break, quick to, we're in recess. But you did this quickly. So I really don't want to hear anything else from you all about how you can't do things quickly, because for some reason you got this done.
Right. And it was bipartisan, apparently. Yep. And I'm like, okay. But you notice they slid it in along with the aid to Gaza, the aid to Ukraine, the aid to Israel. They slid it in with all of that. I'm like, how did that manage to make it into the...
Well, these are the reindeer games they play, that in order to get things passed, they just make these huge packages of things that don't seemingly belong together. So if you vote against it, none of it passes. But if you vote, so people who don't want certain parts of it, they'll vote it down so that they can go back and separate. And that's what takes a long time to get things passed, that they will package all this stuff up together. Yeah, it was coupled with all of those things. Why? This is a separate issue.
Because it's one of these things are not like the others. And I'm like, how did that get in with wartime aid? I was like, okay, it makes no sense.
None whatsoever.
And we got a couple of comments here. Mark said that he, with regards to Threads, he said he couldn't go back to Threads ever since he had to say goodbye to Rupert. The algorithm only feeds him people whose dogs have died. I'm thinking there's a way to get around that, right?
Well, so what happens is you have to then really start visiting other types of things, because once you are posting certain types of things and visiting certain sites, that's what it will show you, definitely. So my advice would be to start, pick something else that you're really interested in, start going to those things, and the algorithm will begin to show you those types of things.
Okay. And then with regard to what we just talked about on TikTok, he said there will be a lawsuit too, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Absolutely, there will be a lawsuit, because here's the thing. I also don't believe China when they say that this is not, that they can do without this. They can, but do they want to do without it? No, there are 170 million TikTok users. That constitutes a lot of revenue for them because of the advertisements, the sponsorships. Look at all of that. Look at all of
Right.
that. So there's going to be a lawsuit. And here's the thing. Also, creators are not going to let this go. They're not going to walk away quietly and just say, well, whatever, I have something else. There's already a contingency of people that are marching on the Hill and doing things saying, basically like save TikTok. I guess I can understand if you don't have anything else going, but I don't understand why you don't have anything else going. If you know that social media is a way that you make your money, you should also know that social media is fickle and you can go back as little as 5 years, even 2 years, and see what's not here anymore. So if you made that your end all and be all, I'm sorry for you. I'm not saying don't fight for them to stay, but I am saying they really have no love lost for you, because if they're willing to say, well, whatever, bye.
So there was, I heard tell that Mr. Wonderful from the Shark Tank was going to, he was wanting to put his hat in the ring to purchase it and he was looking to bring people on board to keep the thing going. And I'm like, really? This is going to be interesting.
What does Mr. Wonderful know about? Look, just because you're a shark, he doesn't. He knows investment.
But he was going to, I guess, put together a team of people, because if somebody buys ByteDance, who's going to maintain it?
Yeah, it's all. See, this is the thing. Well, that's what sharks do, right? They invest in it, but they're not involved in the day-to-day running of it.
No, but anybody who buys it, are they going to be able to know what's happening? Because you're going to need to bring in a whole new crew of tech people, right, to run the thing. Or if you just leave it as it is, it's still going to be leaking information out to China.
Right. You need a whole new crew of tech people. And on top of this is something else that the Chinese have said, that if they do relent to a sale, they would do it without their algorithm. That's the thing that makes TikTok work.
Mm-hmm. So they're going to take their ball and go home.
Mm-hmm. So you can have the shell. It's like I saw this on TikTok was it TikTok? No, it was on Instagram the other day, where somebody brought in a cake to work, and one of the co-workers like ate part of the inside of the cake but left the frosting. So you have First of all,
you mean the crunchy part of the cake where it could still stand up and look like a cake, but then the inside was gone?
Exactly. So I don't know if it had to be like fondant and not just buttercream, because it was still there, but the inside had been, not all of it, but they ate a good chunk of it. Who does that? But that's basically what this would be. You are getting the fondant part without the cake, which is the algorithm. Enjoy.
See, I don't think they think it all the way through to the other side. Like, who's going to run that thing? They're not going to. And okay, if I was forced to sell it, am I going to sabotage some stuff on my way out? Okay, yes. Think of it as a person being evicted. People, absolutely, when they're evicted and mad, they do stuff to property.
All sorts of holes in the wall. You'll have no more copper wiring left. And that's not everybody. This is not to say everybody who's evicted, but yeah, there is a level of anger when you're forced to do something, forced to leave, forced to vacate. You think that at that point, if you were forced to do something, trust you are not going to get the same app that they had, because their attitude will be, if I can't have it, neither can you.
You won't have it either.
Exactly.
Not in the way you think you're gonna have it. Like you said, they'll leave the shell. It looks like you got it, but you don't.
You have the frosting and there's no cake.
That is what TJ sent us today for social media news. And so, my dear, you have the floor to tell us what is happening.
Okay, well, I have
media.
Just a few. Oh, in media. Yes. So I have just a few things to talk about today. So let's talk about Roku. Yay. In quarter one, they've shown the benefit of streaming price hikes. So they posted very solid first quarter financials just yesterday, actually, with positive results in several key metrics. They lost so their losses totaled 35 cents a share, which is better than the Wall Street analysts thought it was going to be. And revenue of 754.9 million, but that fell short of what Wall Street's expectations were. They were expecting 848.6 million. And this is the interesting thing. One of these days, I'll need to sit down with a financial analyst and one of these Wall Street people that do because I need to understand how do you know? What are you expecting? What is it based on? Is it based off of sales? Are you basing it off of last year? And so you make a projection. I really want to know, because whenever I read these, I'm like, so where is this coming from? So yeah, and part of the thing that made this is like price hikes. So proceeds from streaming services distribution grew faster overall than platform revenue, which is interesting. Yeah, this is very interesting. So they said this: live sports are still accelerating to the shift of viewers from traditional TV to streaming, which is the thing, right? We don't have very much in terms of live sports on traditional network TV anymore. A lot of it has moved to streamers, right?
Yep. Yes.
Cable. I look, I recently, I only care about a few sports, but DJ McFord has gotten me now into motorsports like NASCAR. So yeah, well, and this is the thing. So we'll have like a group chat, and last week was my first week watching NASCAR in Talladega. So very interesting. I'm like, this is interesting because it has some motion and movement. So even if I don't understand the entire thing yet, but that was on FS1. That's Fox Sports, right? That's on cable or on live TV if you have a Sling or whatever. So it shows the movement from that. So Roku is positioned. They're in the right position. They're doing things well. Good for you. By the way, you can watch Indie Soup Media on Roku too. So.
And be sure to you are one of very few apps that I have on Roku, because I have Roku TV, which makes it really easy to. I'm like, oh, just go look for an app and add it.
Yeah, the thing is, there are so many apps in their app store. So obviously, if it's not one of the major ones like Max or whatever, then you really have to know about it. You really have to do the work to advertise about it. So thank you for the download. Wow. So that's what's happening over at Roku. Let's take a look at Alphabet. And Alphabet, as you know, is the parent company of Google, YouTube, etc. So YouTube quarter one ad sales topped 8 billion as parent Alphabet declared their first ever dividend and shares popped. Boy, did they pop. Hold on just a minute. I don't know why. Talk amongst yourselves, because my juice is about to run out and it shouldn't be. Hold on just a minute.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Hey, Mark, cake. And this is interesting that we're going right into talking about YouTube when on April 23rd, 2005, YouTube posted its first video almost 19 years ago.
What date was that again?
April 23rd, 2005 was the first YouTube uploaded.
And I had YouTube. No, I got on YouTube in 2006. So wow, the very early in the game.
19 years.
Wow.
I played the video earlier.
Was it a cat video?
No, it was dude at the zoo looking at elephants, and he just said, "Oh, the elephants are here. They have a really long trunk." Well, that's about it.
Wow. Well, he was early in the game. I hope he's making some other things now.
Well, he was one of the owners. of YouTube. So he's
Oh,
making money. Somebody
never
is making
mind.
money.
He's not just a user, he's the owner. Okay.
Okay, yeah, the first video uploaded to YouTube, Me at the Zoo, is by co-founder Jawed Karim.
Ah, very interesting. Wow.
That's $20 billion later. Is that what you said?
It-
How much was billions later?
Oh, 8 billion
Oh, $8 billion
in ad
later.
sales. In ad sales. Not
But
just
I mean,
ad
it
sales.
it had to start with the first video posted, though, right? If you didn't post the video, we would not be sitting here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. At all. Wow.
Mm.
So very interesting indeed. Google and YouTube parent Alphabet have blown away Wall Street estimates. Their revenue is up 15% to 80.5 billion, driven by strong ad growth. So their overall revenue is 80.5 billion. 8 billion is ad, and I added to that. So
Yes, and everybody, because you added to it one way or another, even if you don't see ads, if you pay for premium, which I do because I don't like watching ads, we all gave into that.
wow, huh?
And
And so,
and
go ahead.
this is interesting in the sense that their business model has worked from not day one, whenever they started doing the ads, and everybody else is still playing around with subscriptions and whatever.
I'm telling you, and here's the thing. I know ads are still quote an antiquated way of doing things because this has been since the days of yellow journalism in the beginning of your newspaper actually that ads were there, and the first ads actually were for like home things because it was the it was the advent of the railroad which now allowed for goods to be shipped all over the place, which
Yep.
is really what led to advertising in newspapers because we want for people to have these. Now they can have these. So here we go, here we go. So, we're talking about a very old way of gaining sponsorship and sales and money, but it still works. So that's what the industry does. Everything is predicated on ad sales. Basically, subscriptions work to a point because after a while you get everybody who is going to subscribe. At a point you reach a critical mass with subscriptions and you start to lose, and unfortunately with subscriptions it's like it only goes down from here, right? So you're
Right.
constantly trying to stave off churn, which is a difficult thing to do, which is, again, I keep using Netflix as the quintessential example because they were one. Co-CEO Ted Sarandos was vehemently against advertising on YouTube. Basically saying, I don't know if he said this, but the attitude was, we will never have advertising. Where are we now? Advertising, albeit on the cheapest plan, but advertising.
Right. And everybody else, you cannot get away from it. I was watching, because I have YouTube TV, right? And I record shows that I want to watch, right? So you get to use the DVR or whatever the thing is. And I tried to skip through an ad on ABC. Oh, they will not let you skip past it. Even though it was recorded, you cannot skip past their ads. On some of the other channels, it was recorded, so I can just go and pass the ad and get to the ABC. Figured out a way.
They said not today, Francine.
I was like, what is going on? Because I'm not interested in the ad you're serving up, but I couldn't get around it. I was like, oh, so I would either do that or I would have to get a subscription to ABC's app. ABC doesn't have an app. They put their stuff on Hulu, I think.
Yeah, ABC, because it's all the same company. So their stuff is on Hulu, but in order to use the ABC app, you have to have a subscription somewhere. So you can't just get free content on ABC, even though it's free over the air. Digitally, if you're going to do that, you have to have either a cable subscription or subscription to something like a Sling that has ABC as part of their local channels package. And then you get access to the ABC app. Otherwise, no ABC for you.
You don't, the ABC does not have an app. And then this is kind of really weird because Hulu is a part of Disney. And I'm like, okay, so ABC and Disney and Hulu and everybody, they're all tangled up together.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have the Disney Plus plan, you can get Hulu, but you're still going to watch an ad. You're not getting away from that.
Oh, you're going to watch an ad. Absolutely. And it is what it is. I think it's just up to you, the consumer, to decide what is important to you in terms of entertainment, information, education, and go with that. There is no one right answer anymore. Before, the right answer was watch TV over the air and watch this channel. Then it became make sure you have a subscription to this cable package because this is the right answer. That was when you had no other choice. Then cord cutting became a thing, and you started to get more and more choice. And also, we became these entertainment silos, right? Or these content silos where content is tailored for you, and YouTube is part of that. YouTube is absolutely part of that. Yeah. And I can watch YouTube all day long and not watch anything else. And of course, other content creators and stuff on Instagram, etc. But I think that's where people need to understand. So YouTube is doing something well and doing something right. So let's talk about their earnings call. So CEO Sundar Pichai said that YouTube had more than 8 million, YouTube TV had more than 8 million subscribers. So YouTube TV is what we're talking about, the paid live TV within YouTube. If you pay for that, you get YouTube TV, and I think you also get no commercials on YouTube as well. Is that correct?
No, because I have YouTube TV. I still have to pay for ads on YouTube.
That is terrible because YouTube TV, you're paying at least $59 a month. Am I not mistaken?
It's $69 a month.
So for $69 a month, you can't spare me the ads? How very
on YouTube, you can, because I thought maybe, okay, if I'm paying you $69, $79, whatever, this should be the bundle at that point.
It should be bundled.
I get YouTube Music and YouTube without ads. No, you still get ads on YouTube unless you got premium. So now you pay $69 plus $13.99, or it may be $18.99 depending on when you get in on YouTube Premium.
But to me, it feels like there should be some sort of, at the very least, it needs to be free. But if you don't want to make it free, why not make it discounted? If you have YouTube TV, you get YouTube Premium for this. Is that not an option?
No, it's not. I was like, oh.
And you know what? Why that will work? Because the people who want it will do it. The people who don't want it won't do it. And they'll be okay either way. It's Google / Alphabet. They're making money left and right off of ads anyway, as we can see. So if if I say I don't want it, they're like, oh, that's fine. That's okay. Because there are people who do want it. But at some point, they're going to have to see how that works for their bottom line. And trust me, it's going to come to that point.
So Mark's comment here, he says, I'm an entertainment silo, no subscribers or audience, but the show never stopped.
I'm subscribed to your show.
I am too, Mark.
You are an amazing talent. And I was the first subscriber to your show ever. The show of you, that is.
Right. And then he said, no, YouTube TV stupidly does not even provide an add-on option to get YouTube programming or no ads. Stupid. It got too expensive for me. I went to Sling. Then I got off of Sling too.
I'm still on Sling. Go ahead.
We were on Sling, but because my husband watches and I watch NBA League Pass, they moved the League Pass. You had to have NBC something in order to get our local sports programming or for our team or whatever. So they said, oh no, you can no longer watch NBC Sports on this, and they moved it somewhere else. And I was like, what is happening? So we had to go to YouTube TV. I was happy with Sling because it gave you everything until they moved certain aspects of it.
Pass. Yeah. And that's how they're getting us, right? Where they see that there is a demand for certain things, and they'll put that behind a paywall. So essentially what they've done is they've put it behind a paywall because they've moved it someplace else where it's more expensive, or sometimes entities will put it on its own. And that's something that you have to purchase separate, not even part of a higher, larger plan. So again, it's with what the consumer feels is important. And years ago, you couldn't do this. You couldn't decide, well, I'm interested in this, I'm going to get this. It is what it is. This is what it is, and this is what you have. If you don't like it, oh well, you'll just have nothing. TV goes off at 11.
Sometimes I wish TV went off at 11 because you wouldn't get the shenanigans that come on after 11, but okay.
But you know what? Let's talk about that for a minute and delve into it. If you notice and you're watching, particularly like I'll be on Sling and you're watching these channels, there are so many repeats. So something particularly with reality shows. So it comes on at 8. Let's take any given Bravo show. It will come on at 8. Then there's another one that comes on at 9. Then you have Watch What Happens Live, which goes for half an hour or whatever. But right after that, the 8 o'clock show will play again. So even though, we think there's a lot of content, and there is content there, but it's not a lot of new content, if that makes sense.
You are absolutely right, because I got Disney, so I can watch all the Marvel stuff in one location, right? Well, TNT runs the Marvel movies with ads, by the way, and then TBS runs with ads, and FX runs everybody is running the Marvel movies with the ads, or the Batman movies. These are all movies and things that you can get like on Max or Disney or whatever. You can get the whole movie without the ad by paying for the subscription, but then they roll it on regular TV, YouTube TV. So there, like you said, they're rehashing and serving it up in a different space. And Mark has another comment. He says Velo is the best live streamer for price, but it doesn't have Bravo, which is part of my religion. So I watch my Bravo next day on Peacock.
Right. Absolutely. Wow.
Now, Pluto is doing some new things.
Listen, I am not mad at Pluto. I watch Pluto too. So before I fire up Sling, I will turn on Pluto because they've got, they have a lot of the channels I like. I'm a Doctor Who, I'm a Whovian. So I will watch, the Doctor Who, like the British dramas and stuff. I like Doc Martin, which is a, British drama. Doctor Who is more sci-fi. I also love watching Perry Mason and Mission Impossible, and they have all those channels. So if I'm like and the same thing with Bob Ross, he's like it's so relaxing. I will sit here on Friday nights and watch Bob Ross.
They made it. I was watching Pluto, and they said if you sign up with Pluto, you can, put in, I guess, your email or whatever, and then you can create channels just for you, and they will. So I can put my Mystery Science Theater 3000, Doctor
Mhm.
Who, whoever I want. I can put them all on the thing, and then come in there and watch my own. I guess you create your own app experience.
Yeah. See, that's the epitome of a la carte and content curation. It's amazing the things that you can do. I love Pluto. Pluto. Wait, now who's Pluto owned by? Why is it escaping me?
Paramount.
Yes, Pluto is Paramount. Freevee is Fox. So all of these, Crackle is Sony. All of these free streamers are owned by larger entities.
And they
Don't be
just put the
fooled.
crumbs out for everybody here. Maybe you want it on this way. Mark said, I love to go to Pluto or Flex when I want to find something old. Lots of show dedicated stations. I go to Tubi for bad 70s movies, which I love.
Yes.
He said Plex, not Flex. I was watching Mystery Science Theater 3000. I was like, oh, this is some good stuff. The movies are as cheesy as they talk about.
They're so cheesy. It's like, it reminds me of what's his name out of Chicago, a WGN that syndicated, Svengoolie.
Yes, Svengoolie. I'm like, dude, where did you pick this?
Yeah, I'm like, what kind of movie? But it's hilarious. My sister and I will sit there and watch Svengoolie and just laugh away because the movies are they're so terrible that they're good.
Right. And then sometimes there's some good actors. I'm like, how did you get this? Why did you take this job?
Yeah, because it was like toward the end of when no, it wasn't toward the end of his life, but Bela Lugosi, he was in one of the movies we were saying, and we were like, why did they give him this ugly? We're like, he looks ugly. I'm like, this is what you've been reduced to, Bela?
Yes,
hilarious.
Lon Chaney Jr. was in something on Mystery Science Theater. I was like, what? How did you do that? You're like major.
Well, everybody starts somewhere.
Right, but this is where they were ending, apparently, because
wow,
it was just bad.
Terrible.
Mark said, I love Svengoolie. I didn't know that it was syndicated. I live here, so naturally I know him well.
Yeah, that's right. You're in Chicago, so it is national. Well, WGN is syndicated. So if you find it on MeTV, actually, so yeah, it's been on for several years, and I don't know why I love Svengoolie so much. I just do. I think he's absolutely amazing. I think I need to invest in a Svengoolie t-shirt. Don't be mad at me if I have one on one day.
Okay, I won't say nothing. It's just, and he's got a fan. He got a cult following. I was like, dude, where people with the chicken and some other stuff. I was like,
yes. If you go to any con, like a Comic-Con or any of those comic conferences, you will find Svengoolie there for the most part. Yeah.
I for that, I applaud Pluto. I'm like, I'm gonna go set my Pluto station up, because when there's nothing on, I can go there.
Listen, there's never nothing on. You can always find something.
Well, you know what I mean? Something I want to see. I was like, oh my gosh.
Right, absolutely.
That was that part where I don't have to keep digging to go find it. Oh, it's right here. I set the plate up for myself.
Absolutely. So I want to move on from that. Good for you with the ads thing, YouTube, and talk a little bit. So the Peabody Award nominations are out, and I am very proud that I know someone who has been nominated this year for a Peabody Award. So there are a lot of different things that have been nominated, some traditional types of productions, but they also have interactive and immersive. So this is something to think about for those of us who create in the digital space. there are you can actually submit your stuff for an Emmy as well. You just have to make sure that it meets the qualifications, because they do have interactive and immersive categories. So my friend Ariel Vieira, who, if you watch, I think I've talked about him before. If you watch a YouTube, he is urbanist. So he does tours of New York City, walking tours of New York City, takes you with him, and he is such a history whiz. Amazing. So he and another creator, Khalil Green, who I follow on, I don't follow him on YouTube. I probably should, but I follow Khalil on Instagram. They are nominated for their Instagram series, The Hidden History of Racism in New York City. So
Wow.
it's a six-part micro documentary series by Khalil Green and Ariel Vieira, touring parts of New York that exist in part because of historical incidents of race-based violence, all the while combating the rampant disinformation on social media that dismisses how race continues to shape our history. So I remember watching it, and I was like, that's actually how I started following Khalil, because I know Urbanist or Ariel. And yeah, absolutely amazing series. And he came on yesterday and he's like, I've been nominated for a Peabody. I was like, get out of here. Wow. So he was talking as he was doing the tour that they were nominated for this. And so if you get a chance, if you're on Instagram, you can go to Khalil Green's site page, or Urbanist, Ariel Vieira. And there is a 6-part series that they talk about the hidden racism in New York, and it's fantastic. So congrats, Ariel.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Congrats.
Absolutely. So, and it got me thinking into some of the other types of things and content that I could create, not just for award's sake, but some things that I'm wanting to get back to. So, I am a documentarian and I love making documentaries. So I'm like, I need to look and lean more into using these forms of media that I'm on now to make that happen. So that, gave me some ideas. So thank you, Khalil and Ariel.
And Mark said, I just added Indie Soup app to his Roku.
I am so thankful. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Woo-hoo!
Yay. Yay. Now, in all transparency, the company is still working out some bugs with it because it's still very new, but hopefully it will be up and running right very soon. But you can also catch all the programming. I'll talk about that later. Anyway. Okay. So the Peabodys are out, and you could go to deadline.com and check out all the Peabody nominations. And good luck to everybody that is nominated. And actually, that is what I have for you today. That brings us to 12 o'clock.
Hi, thank you very, very much. I would like to hear more. If you have the floor, you can tell us about what's happening with Indie Soup. Mark says, I'm still working out some bugs too, and I am not in app.
Well, thank you for understanding. We're only human, right? It's only human-made technology, so it's going to be buggy. so thank you for understanding. So for those of you who don't know, Indie Soup Media is my new network, or I should say because Francine and Terry and Terralina and TJ are on there as well. They've got shows. Francine and Terry's show is starting out. Stories of emerging business leaders, and it's been wonderful so far. TJ has a show as well called Ask TJ About Marketing. So on Mondays, you can find both of these shows where you can find out about business, you can find out about marketing. Absolutely amazing. I'm so proud of what everybody's been able to do. So I need to go back and count. I think we have 24 shows. Maybe it's a little bit more. Maybe it's like 25 shows. And we start the broadcast day at 4 p.m. Monday through Thursday and 6 p.m. on Friday. So tonight we are on from 6. and we have a myriad of programming that is in arts and entertainment, business, tech, and education, global lifestyle, and then global content and current events. So a lot of content falls underneath those wide umbrellas, which is why it's purposely wide. So you can go ahead and do that. If you go to the app or social, so you can, let me tell you where you can find us. You can find us on indiesuitmedia.tv, on Roku, on the Indie Suit Media app. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, which I really don't, we're just there because we can be there. And soon we'll be on more platforms. So if you missed any of the shows, you can always go to YouTube or Facebook and watch the replay of the shows. You can also go to the on-demand section on the app or the website and watch any of the shows.
And Mark said, congrats, Tachi. This is really quite an accomplishment.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm waiting for you to feel the love and come on over.
Yeah, because I would like to what the 4-minute mark. Oh my gosh, because you know he has his podcast. Mark has some really insightful things.
4-minute mark is wonderful. I love it. So yeah, get at me, Mark. No pressure.
Yeah, and he says today's 4-minute mark is managing your time. If you listen, review. I really need the reviews. Can you tell?
I need to do better about that because I'm really good about listening to content. And then sometimes because I may be watching it on TV, I won't remember to hit like the like button and review and stuff. So definitely I will.
Okay. So like this was some really good information. We want to thank everybody who decided to join us today on BizChicks TV. As you can tell, we have a plethora, I'm using a word, of content and information, everything that you need to help you take the hassle out of your hustle. That is our main reason for being here. And we want to thank you for tuning in with us today. You could have been anywhere else, but you decided to check us out. Mark, thank you. All of you who are watching live and on the replay, we will be back on Monday with coffee, tea, thoughts, and conversations. And first Monday will be coming up May 6th, not April, May 6th. And we'll be at Seasons 52. We have a young guest coming in. Guest speaker will be at the restaurant with her. Her name is Sylviana Moore. She is doing some big things at Prodigy, PRODYGII.com. She's young, marketing and social media, and she's really got a good thing going there. So she's going to be coming to talk to us a little bit about how we can boost our brand and then reach the, okay, I would say she was, if she's in her 20s, what is that? Gen Z?
That's Gen Z.
Yeah, well, she's Gen Z, but she's got a good head on her shoulders. Not that the other ones don't, but she's doing things and making things happen and bringing people together. She had an event called Brunch and Business, or Business and Brunch, on Sunday, and it was really nice. And we were on the panel discussion and things of that nature. So I will be doing an interview with her, Dr. Tachi, for starting out.
Perfect. I can't wait to see it.
So that is what we have for you this week. We appreciate you. Mark, thank you. Everybody watching, thank you. We will see you next time. Let me push a button. Bye-bye now.